down here to the Everglades Outpost from Flamingo, or up here. We came here. So we're going to volunteer here and see what we can do to help, and we'll share more. So here we are.
You're like signing your life away when you volunteer for these things.
What are some of the highlights in this?
So highlights are, let's see. So first of all, the title of this waiver that I'm filling out right now says alligator wrestling and or handling, touching and or being in proximity of alligators on land and or water waiver agreement form Everglades Outpost Wildlife Rescue, excuse me. So it's a legal document saying that you're giving up.
Does it say death or dismemberment anywhere?
I'm not sure if I've seen death or dismemberment yet. I haven't seen it on here. This one, however, talks about the infectious diseases that you can catch from primates because they have monkeys here. So, let's see. In addition to the normal outdoor biological risks in southern Florida, such as irritating plants and venomous animals. Working and or being in close proximity to animals potentially introduces additional hazards. Major potential risks of rabies. Any animal bites could possibly cause infection. So guys, don't get bit by the monkeys, okay? Make sure that we're up to date on our tetanus shots. I think we're all good. Some surfaces, this is my favorite, you touch may have been in direct contact with monkey feces in recent pasts. So we're just gonna wash our hands really well. We, as far as I know, are going and just working on the property, clearing weeds and stuff like that. So they got massive damage during the hurricane and they're still trying to clean up and separate everything, but it's a pretty big property. Bob just told us that this used to be an orchid nursery that got wrecked in Hurricane Andrew, and he bought it in 1992 and moved the outpost that he had in another location here. So he had some animals already. He said the oldest animals that are here are a lemur and the brown bear that they have on site. So we're gonna check out those guys. He's had them since 1990.
Can't believe it.
That's a long time. We're like looking at 28 years of having some of these creatures here. So I'm gonna finish signing our lives away. Whoa, Lil. That's amazing. Corey, where's your phone? Hi, Bob. Hold tight now. Whoa.
You put one hand just under here.
Okay.
Yep. And one hand there. There you go.
Hello. How you doing, bub? Wow, their skin is so cool. Well, I think our first day of volunteering was a success. We are absolutely filthy and exhausted, but we cleaned and weeded out whole sections where their supporters and clients come through. And now we're gonna clean up because this is what my feet look like. Yeah. The Everglades Outpost was such an amazing experience for us for so many reasons, but the biggest was that it was the first time that we had ever volunteered as a family. Corey and I had maybe done things with our parents when we were kids or done things individually, but never before had the four of us gone somewhere and really helped out somewhere or invested in a place. And you're not always sure how
your kids are gonna
Right.
gonna do, and they blew us away. They set goals above what the goals that they were given, and they blew them away. They set the goals, and they went to town. They cleaned up more than they needed to. They took on projects they didn't need to. They were feeding the animals. They just did. They did everything.
They felt like they were at home, and it was great. We had such a wonderful time. A friend of mine from elementary school actually knew when we sold our house that we were planning on traveling, and she knew that we were heading to the Florida area, and so she was very adamant that we needed to stop and see her Uncle Bob and this place called the Everglades Outpost, and we're so glad that we did. She put us in touch with Martha, and we were able to contact Martha and get everything all set up, and it was fantastic. So a piece of advice that we have to anyone that is looking for opportunities to help out or volunteer is just make sure that people know what you're doing.
Yeah, social media is king for this. I mean, I can't tell you how many people have reached out to us, and then they just say, hey, we're in this area. If you're in this area, we'd love to do this with you, or we could use your help, and we take them up on the offer if we're going through the area, because that's the traveling we like to do. I mean, you can get involved in the community if you take these people up on the offer, because you're doing their life, and they're passionate about their life.
Exactly. So you want to experience things with locals, because number one, they have the inside information, and they can take you places that a more touristy area might not get you to, or
we're not big into highly trafficked areas. No. They cost a lot of money, and they're just kind of surface. So we prefer to get involved.
Yeah, so we want to connect with people, and we want to actually help out and get involved.
Social media has definitely
guided a lot of our
opened up a ton
travels.
of opportunities.
Definitely. Bob Freer and his wife Barbara started the Everglades Outpost 30 years ago, and we were lucky enough to get a private showing of his Swimming with Alligators show. Is that what we would call it?
Swimming with alligators. He swam around with the alligators.
He swims.
He put his arm in the alligator mouth, he has fun with them.
Pretty much Bob's the man.
Yeah.
Nobody does that. So we got a show with him, and then we were able to sit down and just pick his brain a little bit about how he got started doing this and why he's so passionate about what he does and these animals. What's the worst injury you've ever gotten?
The worst bite I got was I know exactly when it was. It was September 2010, and that was 3 months after my daughter passed away. So I really shouldn't have been in wrestling an alligator then anyways. But I was in doing an alligator show for people on a very mean one we call Godzilla. And as I was coming down from the back of him on him, he swung around and he caught me here. And you see where the big tooth went in there, there's an indent. And then the bottom jaw here, and he clamped down and he had this whole arm in his mouth. And so I'm just talking to the people, telling them, stay calm, everything is okay. Yeah, while he's holding on. That this isn't my first bite, and if we just wait, we should just let go in, a few seconds to, a minute at the most. And it's on YouTube, and it was 2.5 minutes. And every now and then he just crunched down tighter.
Try not to scream because you have an audience of people watching.
And I said, no, it's fine. He said, should we call 911? I said, no, 911 calls me when there's somebody bit by an alligator, so that's not going to work. I said, we'll be patient. So I have an assistant girl with me, and so after 2.5 minutes, I had her come behind and put a stick in his mouth and pried it open and took it off.
I have to try to wiggle it.
Tell me you went to the doctors for that one.
I went to my vet as a friend.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. The objective of the Everglades Outpost has changed through the years, but pretty much we will take in and rescue any type of wildlife. So I started off with it being an alligator farm, buying alligators, and the idea was that eventually you would slaughter them for meat and leather. No, you get attached to them for a long time. If you saw any alligator in a TV commercial or a filming, or good chance that it was me. Yeah.
Do you have animals that you've actually been able to release back into the wild?
Yeah, we release a bunch throughout the year. The state has a reg that if I take in an alligator, basically I have to be able to release it the same day, or I'm not able to.
Really? So once it comes in here for more than 24 hours, it's here?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's because they think it's any time over that, it'll get used to people and become a threat to humans in the wild.
Right. And what's the term for that? A nuisance?
Nuisance alligators.
Alligators, what it's called in Florida.
Yeah. And this used to be a nursery for orchids.
Okay.
They raised orchids here. And when you look out this way, you see all these trees. None of those trees were there. This was a flat farmland.
Just the
Really?
one behind us was there?
Yep. This one behind me was here, and one out front by the front house. But
Wow.
everything else has been planted by me.
It's amazing.
Yeah. And
So that was like, sounds like 20 years ago? Would you say 1992?
1992. And when we first started putting up fences and building things, the thing I felt the sorriest for were the animals in this heat. We had no shade.
It's all
Well, I live right here.
Yeah?
And so as I'm fixing my coffee in the morning, the mule will see, the lights on
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever, and he starts coming
That's
over.
up.
It's time for a carrot. So I give him his carrot, then I come out here, sit, usually drink my coffee, jump quick, swim around a little bit. That wakes me up because the water's still, from the well. It's pretty chilly.
Well, we've been here for a few days, and people who have walked through have commented to me that they just feel like this is different than what they've been to before, and I think it's your culture of family that you've created here. And we've dealt with Martha and met all the volunteers, and I'm just so impressed because they all seem to emanate what you do to everybody, and that's just that this is a big family, including the animals. And I don't know how you've done that, but you've done it, and it's a wonderful, wonderful job. So we really appreciate being here. It's been
Thank you
so
for coming.
wonderful.
Since we're in Homestead, which is basically the last town before you get down into the Keys, it's right on the outside of the Everglades. So we took an opportunity and took a boat tour after work one day.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So again, another connection. Friends from our church in Maine contact us and said, hey, my son just has started working, giving airboat tours, and he hooked us up. We went to Coopertown Airboat Tours, and he got us in the front row, and it was amazing.
Arms and legs inside and go. A lot of times get out here and people are like, whoa, this is a big swamp. Which, is understandable and not entirely untrue. But the Everglades is actually a river. It flows out of Lake Okeechobee and then runs all the way down to the Keys. So it's about 100 miles long, but it's actually about 60 miles wide. Water's all flowing through here. The average rate of water flow is about a mile a day. Water moving through the Everglades.
So we had an amazing experience. Tom was so great at like educating us about the Everglades, like things that we didn't even know. And again, another awesome thing for our girls to like experience and hear and learn about. Because this was a family-friend connection, we were able to stay on the property at the outpost in the RV, which made it amazing because there were tigers living in our backyard.
Oh yeah, you could just walk out and go visit the animals. It's like your own personal jungle. And you can hear them. The wolves are howling at night every once in a while, or in the morning, or
it was crazy.
When a siren went off or something. I don't know. And the peacocks were awesome. They're not even they just showed up there.
They just come.
But there's peacocks everywhere.
And they make the craziest noises you have ever heard. The first morning we woke up, we were like, what was that? It was literally like a dream come true for Lily and Layla. Like, to walk out their door and have all these animals around them. Dream come true.
So this was about the month mark for us in living full-time in the RV. So we felt confident, especially after practicing at Peace River, and we actually only had electric only down in Flamingo the week before. So it gave us the confidence to know, you know, what our tanks could do and that we were fine there. If you do it proper and you have your RV first,
you're not backwards like we are.
Yeah, you can practice in your driveway. See how long. Just live out there if you want to. Just to get an idea of how long your tanks last, because every family's different. You figure out what little tricks you can do to cut down on what goes into the tanks. So practice, or if you don't have the opportunity, do it like we did. Practice in an RV park.
Yeah.
And geez, it gives you the confidence.
Right. It takes the pressure off.
Yeah.
Like, what if we run out of water and there's nothing else here? Or what if we fill our tanks faster than we think we're going to? The sewer's right there. Just don't use it.
What if I have to drive 5 states before we get to an RV park?
Right.
You're most likely fine. So, but it's nerve-wracking when you haven't done it before.
It is. It's one of those unknowns. So the more that you can feel confident in before you leave, then the better your experience is going to be. And we want you guys to have like the best experiences ever when you're, starting out.
So after that first day that you saw us working already, where we got filthy a couple more days too. And it was just so awesome to work around these animals. It just made it fun. I mean, you're sitting there raking next to a tiger, 10 feet away, you're 4 feet away from an alligator, pulling weeds out, there's peacocks chasing you around, you're grabbing handfuls of edible like weeds for them to eat.
For the tortoises, like we separated a ton of food for the zebras and the camel and
the donkeys. Like it was fun. It wasn't even work. You're hanging out with animals. I think I should have been a farmer.
I think that might still be part of your calling.
Yeah, it could be.
We might own a ranch someday. Who knows?
So alligators they're the main reason for this whole outpost, and there's hundreds of them.
There's so many
and
alligators.
They make some cool hissing noises. They make some weird bellowing noises.
Bellow?
crazy is 2 weeks before this, we hadn't even seen an alligator yet down in Peace River, or up in Peace River, and
Having
now
a really hard time with that.
and now up, down, we're all over the place.
Wherever we are.
Yeah. So we hadn't even seen one yet, and now we're sitting here holding them, handling them, feeding them,
Interacting with them, getting
get
hissed
out
at.
get out of the way, almost tripping over them. That's crazy.
It's been awesome.
Yeah.
We've just really enjoyed getting to know these animals, and I think that it helps. I mean, obviously, you need to have a healthy fear for all of these creatures, but the more that you know about them, and the more that you are around them. We're from Maine. There are no alligators anywhere. There are not poisonous creatures
it's good
at all.
Not to have fears. You should respect them.
Correct. But you shouldn't be so
scared.
afraid that like you're not going to do things because you're nervous about them. And I think that helped for me.
These alligators are not interested in you.
No.
But it's a fear. And we had to work through it.
As we wrapped up here, Martha gave a little bit of information about the outpost and how to volunteer and how to support this organization.
Because they are passionate about their animals and they need our help.
Yeah, they do. And this place will forever have a piece of our heart, and we will be back and we will continue to support them as best we can.
My job is to ensure that the animals are all taken care of. All of the paperwork, the legalities are all followed. If there's any vet visits or meds that need to be administered, that all falls under it as well. And educating the public, going out to schools and things like that.
How did Hurricane Irma affect the Everglades Outpost?
We went from plans of expanding to complete plans of rebuilding. We were closed for a month and a half. We lost all of our food, went without electricity for about 2 weeks. Devastated us. We were going to expand, and we have spent more than what our budget had allowed just to bring everything back to a somewhat normal pace. So families, even like yourselves that are traveling, can always come in, and we accept help of any kind. So even if you can only volunteer as a group for one day, or even as individuals for just a couple of hours, any help is appreciated.
Alright, so we wrapped up at Everglades Outpost. It was amazing to experience it from a different angle and help and volunteer, and just you feel way more like
You're part of it.
Yes.
Like we were helping and
take
connecting.
some ownership. And it was really hard to leave there, actually.
Yeah, we're like bonded to the people, we're bonded to the animals, to the property itself. It was really amazing. For our first time volunteering as a family, I can't even imagine a better experience. So go volunteer, take your whole family. It was amazing.
I think I know they definitely survive off of volunteers. So thank you guys, and hopefully it was mutually beneficial.
Next time we see you, we'll be in the Keys.